Welcome back, everybody, to a special edition of our draft coverage. As you can see, it is just myself, Jack Smith, and my analytical expert and draft specialty, Paul. Is Pollock, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. This is exactly how it's spelled. Great.
Some people get it wrong, so well done.
Yeah. We are without Josh this week. So what we're going to do, instead of finishing up our rankings, we're going to do HW Zone Mock Draft 1.0 and maybe the only 0.0, depending if we can get together for one last one after our rankings. We'll see how it goes. So Paul and I are going to get right into that without further ado. Paul is going to start us off. Mock Draft 2025. The Islanders are on the clock. Where are you going?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting episode. We'll have some fun with this. I would love to throw the draft for a spin immediately and go with like the hometown Higgins kind of pick.
Oh.
I considered Misa too, just because I don't know, they got some aging forwards. They still have a couple young guys there. Adding Richie was a nice help this year. Ultimately, though, I think they'll just go with the best guy, and it's Matthew Schaefer. Get their number one defenseman, guy who can drive play from the back end, and just put it on the list and get it over with. I think he's the best player. So,
yeah, you think that they? And I would honestly be shocked. My own personal rankings, I considered Misa, but I'm just like, I don't know, especially what's going on with Dobson there. Even if they kept them, it's like you still make it work. You can't have too many good defensemen on your team. So outside of some kind of miracle trade, which I don't see happening, and I understand all the conversation they brought up about, they took Tavares number 1 overall, and look where he went, to his hometown. That's where all the Hagen stuff comes from. So
it does feel like, we talk about it every year. Top 5, top 10 picks don't get traded. It does feel like if it happens, this is the year for it. There's like a lot of potential. The Islanders could drop back and take Hagens at 2 or 3. I don't know. Utah has been rumored to have it on the block. Flyers could move up. I don't actually expect any of it to happen, but it does feel like there's more potential this year with this draft class.
I'm hoping too, because every year of the same stuff, the same, vanilla, this never happens. Yeah. It does suck. It's boring. And I understand other sports are different, like the NFL, those players play right away, but it is fun. Like, we have a trade. Like, I still remember Gary Bettman when he announced, because it was in New Jersey, when he announced they drafted Bo Horvat, but it was Corey Schneider for the 9th overall pick, and the Devils got Corey Schneider. But you always boo the commissioner, and even he, right in the moment, is like, I think you're going to want to hear this. Things didn't work out with good old Corey in New Jersey, but still, it was fun. And my favorite draft day trade of all time was, let's see if I get it right. It was Joffrey Lupul, 2 first-round picks, Lucas Spiza for Chris Pronger, and if you can name the other player in that trade, you win $1 million.
Oh man, I don't know that I can.
I'd be shocked. I would be shocked.
Ryan Petoni.
I don't even know who that is. You got Ryan. You got Ryan right. I believe it's Ryan Dingle, and his name was recently brought up when they had. And this is totally off topic, but screw it. I don't know if it's Spittin' Chicklets or somebody had Pat Maroon on, and those of you know, he was a Flyers draft pick with bad attitude, and that was his roommate. And one of the things that led to Maroon getting booted from the team or sent home was he said Dingle was a great guy, but for whatever reason, he didn't wake him up to go to practice or training camp that day. And he's like, I don't know why. He just didn't do it. And I was like, Ryan Dingle, where do I know that name? I was like, oh my God, he was the guy that came over with Pronger that we just was in the AHL. Yeah. Probably a contract thing, like when you contracts or whatever.
That's the best thing he's known for.
It is now. It's like, damn.
He's barely known for it, and it's still the best thing he's known for.
Exactly. Because he definitely wants to be known for being the guy with Pronger, not the guy who got, what's his name, kicked off the Flyers, Pat Maroon.
Yeah, Pat.
So
really,
with that,
really turned his career around, though, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, would have made a nice Flyer. with that, I am on the clock for San Jose. We can't make trades here, so I'm going to take the best player available, and that is hands down for me, Michael Misa. And if he really wanted to, they could put him in center. They could put him in wing. I mean, I believe that San Jose has seen Will Smith play with Pellegrini, so then that makes Misa your number 2 center. If you keep things as is, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're building something nice there.
Exactly. It's funny when you tank what happens. And yeah, I mean, video game numbers, elite speed, creativity, it just flexibility. You know, I mean, I don't even know why I know they want Schaefer badly, but at the same time, like, who cares? Just take whoever you get.
I mean, Schaefer would be awesome for them to fill out their prospect pool a little bit, round it out nicely. Right. But yeah, I mean, if the worst case there for you is Michael Misa, you can't complain too much. You'll figure out the defense at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, now things might get a little spicy here. We'll see.
Yeah.
Paul,
I think I might make it a little spicy.
This isn't our personal rankings. This is what we think the team should do.
This could go. This is kind of where the draft starts. I mean, there is a chance the Islanders go with the forward, but either way, it's going to be Misa Schaefer 1-2 most likely. This is where it kind of gets interesting. I kind of don't think they're going to go with Hagens because of the size. I think they got Bedard, Nazar, a couple of the small guys in that forward lineup. I mean, they've drafted a ton of talent in the last 2 years. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of them are going to be really good. They got a couple interesting wingers coming up too. They got some young defense with Vlasic, Rinzo, and Levshunov. I think they want. I could see this being Frondel as well, but I'm going to go with Caleb Desnoyers here. I don't think he's going to fall past 5 even, but obviously I don't think he's going to fall past 3. I think in the Blackhawks' eyes, they get a guy that is a reliable two-way center. He can help a guy like Bedard, a guy like Nazar. If they want to keep Bedard at center, he can play 2 center behind him and be positioned perfectly. If he really develops, I don't know what their plans are. There's been some talk of Bedard being a winger down the line, depending on some things. Either way, I think they get a guy who's locked in at center and a reliable one that, he's a winner. They're going to love him there.
Yep. And I've seen that. It's one of the names I've seen there. It's not Hagens, like you said, so I will be okay with that. Can't argue it. And I think you mentioned it. They got their skill guys. They could definitely use a guy like this down the middle. Just, man, not a bad center core to get things rolling.
No.
With that, I'll move on to Utah. Utah's interesting. If I'm going by my rankings, it's Hagens. But I don't know if Utah does that. I think they're shopping the pick for a reason. I think they're keeping a close eye on the playoffs here. And I see Hagens gets an awful lot of comparisons to Logan Cooley. So it's like, do they want 2 of the same? They have other guys there as well because of that. And this is what I think will happen. See, this is where I was just about to say something that was incorrect. I was going to say, this is what I think will happen. I'm not supposed to be drafting that way. I'm supposed to be drafting what I would do.
I thought we were doing what we think will happen.
I mean, I'm sorry, what I think the team should do. I'm going to stick with it. I think they can make this work. I know you're not going to like it. I think they are watching these playoffs, and they're looking at a Porter Martone because they feel like they probably have enough of their centers, and they're going to want to be able to match some of these teams, some of the physicality. And they want these players that are hard to play against, provide size with a compete level, and also being a very skilled big man. It's a copycat league. Even if by the time you copy it, it is shown. Are we live? I think we're live. Oh my God. Oops. Uh-oh. I got to. So, all right. Well, we're doing this live because there's 100 people watching.
All right. Not bad.
Wasn't supposed to be live. Whoops. Maybe we'll release a second episode with the edits. Anyway. So, So, Antoine or Porter Martone to me makes sense here for all the reasons I just said. And I do think if they did go that, it wouldn't be all that wild. Keeps Hagens to Philly alive. I think it fits a lot of bills, and yeah, that's going to be my pick. So on to you with Nashville.
It does keep Higgins to Philly alive, and this is where we'd be getting our hopes up. I could see us going any way. Frondell here can make sense. I could even see Nashville going with like a Victor Eklund. I feel like since Trout's got there, they've made a few comments about swinging for upside with high picks. So I don't see them doing anything too safe here. They need a little bit of everything. They're a pretty old team. Besides Phil Forsberg, one of the most underrated players in the league. I'll always mention him when I can. I feel like their top prospects are wingers, so they would definitely like a center. As a Flyers fan and as someone who has Higgins 3, I would love to not pick him here, but I just don't see him getting past Nashville.
And that is the team that's going to bring it all down. All our hopes and dreams. Well, most of us anyway.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think he's got the most upside at this point. He may have the most upside outside the top 2 in the draft, and I think they're going to swing for that.
Yeah, it's like once we sank in the draft lottery, I kind of kissed him goodbye, to be honest with you. And this is kind of the scenario. I was holding out hope. Certain guys were rising, Denoye especially, but every mock I see has Higgins. If he's not going higher, this is where the buck stops there. Hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully something happens, but that's gonna be it.
I mean, like we just did, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 and 4 don't go with Higgins. Like you saw with Martone, I don't know they would go with Higgins with Cooley as their 1C. I feel like they're a little too similar, him and Higgins. So, but it just feels like Nashville won't let him slip. I mean, there is a chance. Who knows what their rankings are? And like I said, I could see Eklund or Frondell here, but I just feel like he's got the upside, and he'll break our hearts, or Nashville will break our hearts.
Say the draft went the way it did, and Nashville's up. Is there anybody else you can see them take? Like, would it be another position, or if they're going center, that's who they're taking, and that's that?
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I could, if they see Frondell sticking at center, they might want a bigger shoot first guy. Like you said with Martone, you're watching the playoffs. You get a bigger guy who hits a little bit, plays a two-way game a little better. That's a possibility. Maybe someone's really high on Jake O'Brien. He's got a little size and passing ability. I'd be surprised though.
And with that, I'll move on to the Flyers pick. Mr. Twitzer here, pushing the old McQueen there, the healthy McQueen, allegedly healthy McQueen narrative.
You gonna bite the bullet?
No, only because Antoine Frandel is there, and I'm gonna have to. I feel like if he wasn't there, we can have a conversation. But it's so funny to see his rankings. He is all over the place, especially recently. He's got high-end skill, the elite shot, complete 200-foot game. And it's just like I've heard somebody say, and it might have been the prospect Don, I'm not sure, that like players in Sweden were saying how he's like one of the best players they've ever played against at that age or something. And I was like, that's a hell of a compliment. So I don't see them giving up on that. He's got the size. That's what they want. It's not like he's not Roger McQueen size, but it's still size.
Better player though.
Yeah, well, yeah, he'll definitely have the availability. That's for sure. So yeah, with that, to me, I wouldn't call it a no-brainer, but I definitely think if he's available, that'll be their pick. And I would be happy with that. I would be very satisfied with that. And then I can feel safe and kind of back away, be like, okay, now who are we trading up for? Because why not? Yeah, so yeah, I will definitely take that. So Paul, back to you. Boston Bruins, what are they doing?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that Frondell pick. I think if he gets a 6, I'm not sure he'll stick at center. We've talked about that, but either way, I think he's the best player available there.
Yes.
So at 7, this is certainly not what I would do, as I'm not that high on injury or not, but There will be no trade up for Roger McQueen because Boston's taking him here.
Wow.
I think they want a center. They want to build that center depth that they've lost with Bergeron and Krejci. The only reason I could see them like hesitating with it is because of their swing for Dean Letourneau last year, the huge forward that will likely not work out in the first round. But I think they're going to see the potential in McQueen. He's a center. He's big. He's got the high upside. I think it just fits the Bruins too much. And if that health is better than what we thought it was, like they're saying now, I think he might go 7.
Allegedly. I like that. It's very true.
Personally, I'd be happy if he goes 7.
I'd be a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. But the odds of him slipping to where the Flyers could realistically trade up, slim to none. So it's one of those like I always every draft I always have 2 things. One player I hope falls, and 9 times out of 10 it's like there's no chance. Like last year it was like a Caden Lidstrom or something. There was somebody else. There's somebody else we really like too. Who's once we don't get them, they're out. They're out. You know what I mean?
Last year's draft did not fall well for me.
No,
there was like 4 guys that I was interested in at where were we 11, 12, whatever it was.
12, yeah.
And none of them made it to me. I mean, there was still some guys I liked at 12, and Jet was fine, but like the guys coming into the draft that I wanted, none of them made it. I thought at least one would.
I'm trying to think. Who did Columbus take? Because I think that's the other guy.
Columbus took Caden Lidstrom.
They took Lidstrom. Who was the other guy? I'm trying to remember who took him. It was a center, and he was supposed to go around the 9-10 range. But when Anaheim took
Seneca,
I was like, go. We're gonna have our pick of who we want. And now that being said, Boyum did fall, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I really thought that they were going to be in range to grab somebody they really liked.
I don't know if this is who you were thinking of, but I really wanted Berkeley Catton.
That's it. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Berkeley Catton.
Seattle, they've drafted really well.
There you go. And sure enough, they're on the clock right now. There you go. But yeah, it was him. And for a little bit earlier on, Buffalo took that defenseman. Carter Yakimchuk, that's it. I liked Yakimchuk for a little bit.
I liked Yakimchuk too.
I prefer the center. So all right, we'll get on with it.
There were a couple of D-men. I like Zane Parekh as well. I thought maybe he would fall because he was a little more volatile, but
he's more offensive, right? Like
he had an awesome season. Draft was won this year, but I kind of thought he might be like so offensive that he might get to the teens. I thought one of those guys would fall, and there was just a run on D-men after Berkeley Catton.
It was like a run on everybody I thought we would want in a row. It was terrible. But I was like, somebody's still going to be there, and there was, and we didn't take him. So, still love you, Jet. It just is what it is. Love the draft more, I guess. So, all right, you can give me shit for this one. It's fine. But I've seen this in mock so much to the fact where I can't confirm anything with Seattle, but I feel like it's going to happen. And I'm going Radim Merkin. I've seen them linked to him a lot. He's definitely has the size. They do need to draft defense. Don't have to, but they kind of should. Yeah. And when you see something so often, maybe you start to believe it. And I guess that's where I'm at, but it also makes sense. 6'5", skates well, offensive flashes, rare right-handed shot with young top 4 upside. It's hard to turn that down. It really is. So I will stick with Radim Merkin at Seattle at number 8, which leaves you with Buffalo at 9.
All right, with Buffalo, I'm gonna make Jack's day here, and I'm gonna take Brady Martin off the board here.
He goes top 10, and he is off the board.
They have a lot of forwards. You could, if Merca's there at 9, I think that could be interesting because they have a ton of left-handed Ds, but they don't have a ton of right-hand D. But I think they want to get bigger and meaner. They have a couple big guys in Tage and Tuck. But they've been drafting skill for how many years now, and it's not working. I think they want to turn and get a little bigger, get a little more physical, get a little more mean. And Brady Martin's staring them here. Reliable 200-foot player is going to hit the hell out of people. I think they take him here. I personally wouldn't have him in the top 10, but I kind of think he will be taken in the top 10.
Kind of made my next pick a little tough because I like both of these players, and I'm trying to think of team needs here, and it would involve potential trades, so I'm not going to go that route. So with Anaheim, to play with the stupidest player in the league, I'm going to take Eklund. I'm going to take Victor Eklund. They definitely have some defense and some centers out there, unless they move one of them. So a nice, skilled, definitely a fun player to watch, too. Left winger, Victor Edlund. I mean, how many true left wingers are really dangling out there? I mean, you can't go wrong with Victor Eklund. And
he's
fun
also
player,
super competitive,
high motor speed, ability to create offense. I mean, for the players they already have there at left wing, to me, it fits the bill. It does fit the bill. And I'm not going to say who else I considered in case that's who you're going to take. So with Pittsburgh, and I hate to see who you're probably going to take, but they are on the clock. What do you do? Yeah,
unfortunately, there's a couple guys that I really like still here. I haven't loved they haven't had that many draft picks. Their prospect cupboard is really barren. Honestly, I don't really even know what direction they're going either. I feel like they don't know what they're doing.
Well, the coach they hired, it's like I know that makes me think they're going down.
Yeah,
they're going to Haggins.
So
it's true.
We'll see. I feel like everyone in every league, how many people hated Sirianni? I mean, even hated him this year.
You're absolutely.
But, you never know. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot of players here that I still like. I was considering a D-man, but I think I'm going to take Jake O'Brien here.
Yeah, there it is. That's who I would hate to say this.
I initially was thinking a D-man here. I feel like there's one that I really like that could fit here pretty well. But at the same time, if O'Brien falls to 11, you might get a couple years, maybe a year or two of him learning under Crosby still. A smart playmaking center like that. I think that could be a nice fit for them.
That's a good point. That is definitely a good point. Now I'm on the. I would hate to see that. I truly would hate to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it either.
Now I can go with who I want. I got the freaking Rangers here. Oof, this is going to be interesting. Oh, man, no, I don't think he'll go that high. Oh, do I want to do it? Got to get a little crazy, right? Let's get a little crazy. I'm gonna type it.
All right, what are we doing here? Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I can't resist. Kashawn Aitchison.
I have thoughts on this player. That'll come up in my next rankings, I'm sure.
Left-handed defenseman. When I saw some of the comparisons to him were like, what's his name? Who they traded to Anaheim? Trouba with like a brain. I was like, it makes too much sense. He's physical.
To be honest,
size.
I think he is Trouba, like full stop. Without the brain.
No brain.
I think he's going to be a player that people think is better than he is because he delivers some huge hits, but he's also like getting out of position because of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe they can, make it work.
Yeah, no, I think Trouba's a great comparison for him. But I agree. He'll go top 15, top 20.
Right. And again, just going back to how this is a copycat league, Rangers have been in the playoffs. Hopefully, if they could turn things around quicker or figure things out, because there should be some moves there. You got a guy who plays physically. He's got size. He's mobile. He's got the skill to be a top 4 defenseman. And if you're physical in the playoffs, that seems to be the thing now. And it's a little high. I like the player, not there, but it's one of those drafts. So I don't think it's outlandish. He could go 12th. It's not like I put him 6th. But like it wouldn't surprise me all that much. It felt a little fun. What did I leave on the board here? I think it fits some of their needs, though. Some of those like intangible needs that they're looking for could blow up in their face too. I'm not disregarding that at all. It's definitely one of those. He could be a wild card, Sometimes you need a little crazy.
Oh yeah.
You need a little crazy. So So yeah, I did it. I did not plan. You can tell I did not plan this.
I did it
before because I just went wild there. So go ahead. Detroit is on the clock.
All right, Detroit. You know how long are we giving this Yzer plan here?
I mean, he's a Red Wing through and through, so I'm thinking forever.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was expecting them to have turned it around by this point. They got a lot of solid players now, but just can't seem to get over the hump. A little bit like Ottawa, I feel like. Though Ottawa's probably got a little more talent. But Detroit's got a couple young defensemen, Insider, Edmondson, and Axel Sandin-Pellikka coming up. They seem to like two-way guys and some Euro guys. This draft's not the best for Euro players, but there is one two-way guy that is still there. So I'm going to take Carter Bear here.
Wow.
Just a little bit like Eklund, just a nonstop motor, high IQ, high motor guys. They rarely fail. And I can see him being a fit here. I'm sure they would like a center, but at this point, I think he's probably arguably the best player available. Just checking my list there. But I also just think he kind of fits what Detroit's been drafting like lately.
He was my best player available. He was even higher ranked than Koshan Atchison as well. Yeah, so I can't go wrong with that pick. He was my 10th ranked prospect, one over Brady Martin, just like that. So that leaves me on the clock with Columbus. They could go some interesting directions here. I don't know what their defensive situation is going to look like after this year. I don't know if Provorov's sticking around. I think I'm going to go Jackson Smith with this pick.
I'm glad you took him. I don't want to go defense on my next pick, but I was like, I can't keep letting this guy fall. I almost took him with Pittsburgh's pick.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. And
that's how these things go. They always wonder, like, how did so and so get to that pick? But it's not like it's not always that teams don't like him. Sometimes you have just like he's second on your board, but there's one guy you still like higher, and then keeps being second on a team's board, and all of a sudden he's down to 20, and you're like, how did he get there?
And anybody who plays fantasy anything knows that this happens all the time. And size, skating, offensive tools. You can't go wrong. They can do a little bit of everything, and I think they're going to have holes on defense. And by the time he comes up, Werenski may be out of his prime too. So there's something there. And now you are on the clock with Vancouver.
They've been drafting some good defensemen too with Matejchuk and Jiricek.
You never have enough.
Yeah. Vancouver is an interesting team.
Well, that's right. Jiricek's where'd they trade him? Who put the bullet?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't think of it.
I will look that up.
Blanking.
Why you?
Let's see. Vancouver's interesting. Where'd he go?
Wait a minute. I might be confusing him with his brother.
Adam.
Adam.
David's the one on Columbus or drafted by Columbus.
There we go. We were right, and he went to the Wild. Joined Zeev Buium.
Yeah.
Now I remember it. Now I remember the trade. But yeah. So there you go. Sorry about that. Another misdirection.
So Vancouver, the prospects they don't have a ton of strong ones. They got a couple interesting defensive guys coming up. Tom Willander leading the way there. Still got some good forwards in their unit. Though I'm not sure what'll happen with Besser, and it feels like they're kind of at a tipping point with Miller, maybe even Pettersson too. So I don't really know what's going on there, but with that in mind, I'm going to take Braden Coots here. We'll get a center in the system, get a competitive two-way guy with some upside. He's a big favorite of Josh's, and I've become a pretty big fan of him too. I think he's just a solid player to add to any system.
Can you just spell his first name right? Now we will, and I mean, to be honest, I like him as well. So hard to argue that one. We're both going to pick for Montreal now, so I'll take the player I like a little bit better. I mean, I could go with either one here, but I'm going to go with, and I can't say it because Josh just said it so beautifully.
Yeah, that feels like a natural fit.
Justin
Carbonneau.
And yes, this guy is, if God forbid he were to slip a little bit, I know he's not exactly position in need, but talk about fun player. Fast, strong winger with a dangerous shot. So, I mean, he's just fun. I mean, it almost feels like a luxury, but these players can really turn into something. So, with having back-to-back picks like that for Montreal, I mean, you kind of can take a swing on a player, and I think it's a good spot for him anyway. So, he is my 15th ranked prospect, and I just had him go at 16. So, there you have it.
Perfect. I think it's a natural fit there, too.
Beautiful. And Montreal is still on the clock.
So, with their back-to-back pick, assuming they don't trade one of these, I think they're going to need some defense. They drafted Ryan Backer, famously ahead of Michkov. But last year they went with Demidov. You know, they got a lot of young offensive talent, not a ton of defensive talent. So one of these picks, I think, has to be a defenseman for them. This range has a few guys that are all in the mix, I think, with like Cameron Reed, Hensler, Fiddler. I'm going to go with Blake Fiddler here. I think Montreal is going to love the NHL pedigree of being Vernon Fiddler's son. They're going to love the size. He's got a lot of potential. He's already very solid defensively. He's got shutdown potential, but he moves well too. You know, his offensive instincts could improve a little bit, but there's a lot to like there. I see a solid defender for sure, with good runway and the NHL pedigree that I think Montreal enjoys.
It's very interesting. I was wondering when he was going to go. I have him ranked a little bit lower, but again,
I have him ranked a little lower too. But
he's okay. Going what we talked about before then.
Yeah, I'm going more like a prediction, more so than what I would do.
And we're going to hopefully we see a lot of that. Hope the Flyers are able to take advantage. Calgary is a team I think can pretty much do whatever they want. So I'm just going to have them take my best available, which would be.
I was about to take him for St. Louis.
Oh,
our first one like this.
I sniped you. It's always good when you're at the fantasy draft and you pick somebody and the person after you goes, shit. Who invited this guy? So yeah, so I mean, he's what I was asking you guys about because I had seen him go originally be just inside the top 10, then just outside of the top 10, and then starting to fall with every new mock I see. And it's like he's a big guy with legitimate speed, skills, goal scoring ability. He's got talent. I believe his compete comes into question a little bit, but it seems like he still has to work on a little bit of everything. So if he can work on those things, he could really be something. But if you're having an issue already with your compete, are you really going to put the work in to that degree? I don't know. Maybe it's overblown. I'm not sure. I think that's why he's falling. So I think he fell about 8 spots at least from where I originally had seen him. So you're a team, you need a little bit of everything. You're probably getting talent-wise a pretty good player here. Why not?
Yeah, he's in my top 10.
There you go.
You know, I'm a big fan of him, but I don't know that it's you know, I agree that the compete has been called into question. I don't know I don't think he is bad compete. I feel like he just doesn't use his size quite to the level that we want. But he also is still growing. He had a little bit of a growth spurt. I think he's still kind of figuring out his body and filling out. So maybe that'll get better as he ages a little bit.
So,
but I think it's a lot to like there.
Absolutely, yeah, and we'll see. Maybe people think of JVR and they get a little nervous. So, Olson, thanks for checking in. Appreciate that. And Paul, you're on the clock with St. Louis.
All right, with St. Louis, a lot of ways we could go here. I'm thinking I'm going to go with Colin Potter here.
Ooh,
he feels like I don't know. I can picture like Scotty Upshall in the Blues jersey being Colin Potter now. Nice, speedy, down the middle center or winger, I guess. I'm not sure which one he'll end up playing. Yeah, he played a lot of center at Arizona State, but he may end up a winger. I feel like he needs to get a little better at draw or play driving, like with his brain rather than just out skating everybody. But that skating ability obviously is a great trait, and he's got a pretty above average shot too. There's a lot to like in Colin Potter. I have him a little higher than 19 in my rankings, but he's a guy that I could see going around here or going like early second round. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes early or falls out, but I think the Blues will like his speed.
No, I was curious where he was going to go. He's definitely been rising for me. He coming into this, he was like early second rounder, and like quite the opposite of Lakovic, just slowly moving up the rankings. So wouldn't surprise me if somebody snagged him. And 19, yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was almost in Philly range. We're getting there. So yeah, I was curious where I was going to go here, and I thought about it, but now I think I'm going to take Cole Rezhny here. They could use – you can never have enough centers. I've seen them around this range actually taking centers, just different guys. So I will follow along that line. I could see him going earlier than that too. But very skilled, intelligent player who plays hard, was very good at any junior level he played during the second half of CHL season. So, yeah. So, again, can't have enough centers. And they got enough first-round picks to pretty much draft every – does Columbus have another first-round pick? Or I think maybe they gave it up to somebody else. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, Never mind. So, still, they come away with a defenseman and a center. I mean, that's – two premium positions right there, so can't argue that. And with that, Paul, you are on the clock with Ottawa.
Let's go with Bill Zonin here.
There he is.
I think similar to what I was saying with Buffalo, Ottawa's a team with a lot of talent that they made the playoffs this year, but hasn't quite got over the hump. Zonin's a guy who just nonstop motor. Produced really well in juniors, but he's also just an in-your-face, hard-on-the-puck guy that will play well in the playoffs and add a little grit and skill to the lineup.
Okay, two things. One, you're making my job pretty tough here because the players I like remaining are wingers, and I don't want Philly to take a winger, nor do I think they should.
Are you going who you think they should take or who you think they will take?
That's a good question. Because I don't think that they should take a winger here. I don't even know if they should have this pick.
EPA.
Oh, I'm tempted. Let me just do a little scroll here. See if somebody that's too early for him. Oh, come on. Don't make me do it. Oh, man. Well, between two players, and they're both positions that I am not. You know what? Let's do this. You can never have enough.
Oh, no.
Not a fan?
I'm not.
You guess who the other player I was considering?
Kindell?
Yeah. And I know you love him. I could see Brent Flair doing this stuff.
I could see it too. I really, I'm not. I don't think he's a first round player.
Talk about Mr. Safe again. Like
talk about German Rubstab right here.
Oh God, it makes me want to delete everything. Hey, he's a heavy center with strong puck skills and playmaking vision. Despite questions about his skating, oh boy, did another one of those. His offensive and physicality make him a legit first round pick. Physicality up, copycat league. You know they're gonna throw that in their face.
He'll probably go first round for that reason.
I'm not gonna lie. I would be upset that they didn't trade up or trade that pick for something else if that's who they ultimately wound up with. But based on who's still available, I mean, unless you just go winger at that point. But I don't think they're gonna do that. At least not at 22. I could be wrong. I'm at a point now.
At 6, you think they won't go best available?
I think they might consider defense, to be honest with you.
I
mean, they're so light at center that I could see them. They'll take
Logan Hensler here.
Well, I could see. It's not a bad pick. I can get on board with that. but like I could see them taking a risk at 6, more of a risky, not like a McQueen risky, but like who knows with Frondell what you're getting, and then maybe more of a safe player later who ceiling is significantly lower. That feels very Brent Flair to me. So
yeah, I agree with that reasoning.
Not what I would do. That's why I struggled with it. I think I would have taken Kendall.
I would love that. Frondell and Kendall would be a nice.
I would be
nice
making all sorts of Mortal Kombat references. Sounds like Sindel.
It'd be I'd be on the line as much as Brent Flair if that's the way the Flyers go.
If he did that, I bet you'd be right back on board with him, wouldn't you? Oh man! All right. Well, we'll get over that, and I'll probably take a lot of heat for that one. But remember, it's not me.
I could see. I think it's a realistic pick. It's not. This is the mock draft, not what we ourselves would do, right?
Damn right. All right. So with that, you are back on the clock with the Nashville Predators.
All right. We talked about Nashville earlier. They seem to swing for upside here. So, I mean, I went Higgins earlier. There's a couple guys with upside, but I don't know that they'll want someone on the smaller end again. So I'm still, I don't know that this guy would go first round. It's actually, you know what? Maybe this is the time for our first goalie.
Yeah,
maybe
I had
we go
a feeling
with Ravensburg in here.
You knew it was going to be this pick or the other pick, right?
I mean, my scouting of goalies is look at the safety percentage in the league they're in. I'm not some expert here scouting those guys, but it seems to be a decent goalie draft. There's a handful of good prospects here. I wonder, especially with it not being the deepest draft, if there will be like a run on goalies once one's taken. I feel like sometimes you see that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it makes sense for Nashville to go with Saros. I feel like has been rumored in trades the last 3 years now. Nashville doesn't seem to be getting better anytime soon, so got to start building up that pipeline.
No, hard to argue that. He just seems destined to be drafted by Nashville, even with them having that other pick and like 3 picks. So yeah,
one of the goalies does. I feel like he's a right-hand glove too, which for some reason I love watching a right-handed glove.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even realize that. That'd be fun. All right. So Los Angeles for me, I think I am going to go Logan Hensler here. I think they've been rumored to some defense, and he is a right-handed shot, which is a big deal, if you ask me. A little background. How high did he go here? Oh, shit. Let's see if here we go. Yeah, he's a reliable two-way defenseman with size, mobility, and puck-moving skills. Most likely a top-floor guy with a right-handed shot, so you can never turn that down. So that is my pick for – I'm almost thinking like I hope if this draft falls the way it does, I hope that's who Philly picks. I would say that, then a winger. Even then I'm a little before Nesbitt, but got to go with what we think. So with that,
I would love Coots, Lakovic, Potter, Rezny. I'd love one of those guys to fall to 22.
Somebody's got it.
But if not, I agree. I like Hensler if they can get him. He's a good player.
If this is our only mock we do, I'm gonna print it out and I'll be like, how close were we to at least these players not falling to Philly? And this is why
how many of our guys actually went in the first round will be interesting.
True, yeah, that's true too. Shit, I didn't mention it before, but like a guy like Bill Zonin was another guy. Like he was like mid-second when I first started doing my research, and he's now almost mid-first. Like,
yeah,
who the hell knows?
Plays the playoff style too. We know how that recency bias hits
like a hammer. All right, Chicago's back on the clock.
All right, I'm going to go with something similar to your Philadelphia pick here. It's I don't think this would be the best pick at 25, but I'm going to go with Will Horkoff.
Wow.
Big center, big heavy center with NHL family pedigree. I think Chicago's trying to insulate the smaller skill guys they got, especially down the middle. So who'd I take for them earlier? Oh, Desnoyers, and then I think you get another big, reliable center. Hope his offensive upside becomes a little more than what I see. But it just feels like a move in that vein is like what they'll do here.
Hard to argue it. It's funny is that name is a little more recent to me, at least creeping upwards. So I could see it. I could see him drafting that position at least anyway. All right, back to Nashville, who is already taking a center and a defenseman. I am looking at two different wingers is what I'm going to say. Now, one of them's your buddy, but I am considering somebody else.
Kindell could be a Nashville pick. I could see that.
I'm really torn here.
But he's obviously a Carolina pick if he gets there. Carolina takes guys I want every year.
I think Nashville would. Oh yeah, we'll talk more about that in a second. I'm going to go Malcolm Spence though. We spell Malcolm. Is that how it's spelled? They just fixed the
yeah.
No, he spells it like I don't know.
No, there should be an L there,
right? Yeah, he keeps trying to tell me otherwise, but whatever. Wait, let me check this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, yeah, so a little bit bigger of a winger, responsible. Nashville with their defensive style of play.
Yeah, easy to see the
high effort
translation.
Yeah, high effort, two-way play. Not exactly the flashiest. Yeah, definitely a Nashville offensive player. Well, they do have some, but they don't typically draft them. They trade for them. So I can see a player like that. It's also left wing. They covered all their positions in the first round, which is nice. Center, wing. Oh, we didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, we did. Did we do defense for them?
No defense.
Never
goalie.
Mind.
We did a goalie.
Goalie. That's what it was. We didn't take a defense with Nashville.
Yeah, there hasn't been. Oh, you took Hensler. Never mind.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Defenseman a bit.
Yeah, I still.
But no, you did take Hensler.
I'm going to change my pick. Can I change my pick?
Sure.
I thought we
going with the D-man now?
I am.
Which one? Cam Reed?
Cam Reed. This feels a little bit more Nashville to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Good skater.
Yeah, so they just whatever you need to do to make these defensemen better, they typically know how to figure that out. So I will take at least my next best available defenseman, dynamic skater who closes well defensively, can generate clean exits and secondary offense. So, yeah,
like it.
That'll do it for me. And you are on the clock with Washington.
Honestly, I don't really know where to go here. Kindell's obviously my best player available, but I don't necessarily see Washington taking him. I feel like everyone wants to put Russians on Washington. So you can go with Rabkin or there's another Russian I'm considering. But maybe they just go with kind of a boring pick here. And let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody else. Cam Reed could have been a pick for them too. I'll go with William Moore. Center out of the U.S. program. Coming into the year, he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick. It hasn't quite worked out that way, but I think there's still some upside there. He's a smart kid, smart player, decent size. So, he still produced pretty well this year. Decent enough. But for a late pick, I think he's still got some runway left, and he has the pedigree coming into the year. He could be a solid pick here.
There you go. You're going to hate me for this.
You taking Kindell?
I think I see them going some kind of winger, especially if they think they're going to lose Ehlers. And I also, and I know Ehlers is left, but I see them going with the upside. You've kind of sold me a little bit more on Kindell, especially with how high you had him ranked. I know that might have changed a little bit, but I think they would go winger here.
High for me.
Yeah. So I think I got him going winger, and I'm sorry. All I can say is I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It does make my pick tough because, I thought Carolina would be an easy pick for me because, like I said, they normally just take the player I love. But at this point, the guys I really like might be still a little bit of a stretch that, like, I don't know that they would reach for them here. So I guess I guess I will take. Let's go Cameron Schmidt.
Ooh.
I wanted to go defense. I feel like they could use defense maybe a little more, but I just don't love the options here. Cameron Schmidt, I'm not sure we've talked about him yet on our ranking show, but he'll be coming up pretty soon for me. He's a tough evaluation. I watch him, and a lot of times I come away thinking I don't see it translating to the NHL. But at the same time, he has the best shot in the draft, and he's the fastest player in the draft. So there's something there. Yeah, you get those two traits. I feel like you might as well take a shot in the first round. Late first round pick, go with a guy with a skill like that. He's very small. He's got some junior tendencies, but again, best shot and best skating. It's worth a shot.
I like it. Oh shit! I didn't even write him down. All right. You said it was Cameron Schmidt, like Schmidt. Probably spelling it wrong here. What position is he?
He's a winger. He's a right winger.
Thank you. I've definitely seen the name. I just didn't do too much research, but yeah, if he's rising up the draft boards, San Jose. So far we've taken Misa. Did they have another pick? No, right? Just Misa, right?
I don't believe so. Yeah.
And we talked about them.
They may have traded for Eklund at this point to get the brothers together.
I've seen that. That would be fun. All the brothers getting together. You might as well do it now because they're going to want out of your team to go meet up anyway. So, oh man, it is tempting to take. Okay, I could see. This is what I there's a player I prefer, but I can see them doing this, and pronouncing this name is going to be fun. I heard it once in practice. Boumedienne, is that how you say it?
Pretty sure that's it.
I heard it. I practiced it, and I was like, "Why am I practicing it? We're not going to talk about it for a while." And then I
some people have him high. It's a good skater.
I see him rising. I'd say he was about mid-second. Now I'm seeing him sneak into the bottom of the first round, which is essentially where I have him going. And like you said earlier, why they wanted the first pick so bad is they wanted to shore up their D. You get somebody later, and you kind of go from there. And I do think he is rising up draft boards, and that wouldn't be too bad for San Jose. He's one of the better skaters in the class. Transition ability with potential for some offense and a decent frame. Can't argue that.
No.
Played
the NCAA this year, held his own. So not too bad.
Yeah. See. All right. Number 31. Calgary's pick.
31. Like you kind of said earlier, Calgary can go a lot of different ways. You got him taking London Lakovic earlier. I'm going to stick with size here. I'm not sure how high I'm going to end up having this guy on my list. Probably not quite this high, but he just seems like someone who will be a first-round pick. So Mason West is the pick here. I don't know how much you've heard of him, but basically 6'6" center who can skate really well. He had some D1 offers to play quarterback, and he has decided to stick with hockey. So super athletic kid, still kind of finding his game because he was splitting so much time with football and hockey. I just think you get a 6'6" center who can skate like that, and he has that much runway still left in his development. I feel like some team is going to take him in the first round. I don't see him slipping out to at least past the early second. There's just too much potential that people will fall in love with. He's, a better bet than Dean Letourneau, who we mentioned earlier with Boston.
Hey, you might as well take a swing, right? I hate the Nesbitt pick even more now. Because there's 3 different players I'd like to take here, but I feel like, oh my God, I don't like any of the, at this point, I'm really not too keen. Some of the defensemen I think are okay. I can see them doing this. Oh God. I really wish if the draft winds up going this way, outside of this, I do like the 6th pick, but other than that, I'd be very upset. I already see changes I'd like to make, but to finish out our draft, this is where I'll have them take a winger, believe it or not.
Malcolm Spence.
I feel he feels Flyer-ish to me. It's also a left wing, which, you use plenty of them. And this pisses me off because had I gone defense earlier, I'd be looking at, and I'm only saying this because we were done, Milton Gastrin, definitely Ivan Rabenkin, and even potentially Jack Ivankovic. Like I was looking at all 3 of them, but I'm like,
yeah, I can see us taking a goalie.
I just went center. I can't take another center. Goalie, yeah, I didn't address defense, but I don't really like anybody.
Yeah, you got a bunch of picks coming up in the second round.
That's true. And those are the guys where I see these guys, that's where I want them to go.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, this will, I'll tell you right now, if there's a 2.0, this will change. I really don't like but again, it could go that way.
It could. It'll be interesting. I think there's going to be names that we did not put that will surprise people. I could see like a Shane Van Sage, I think might go in the first round. I could see I don't know how to say his first name. It's like Hawaxi Wang. Have you seen this kid?
Left-handed defenseman, right?
Yeah, he's like put up basically no points in the OHL, but he just started playing hockey recently, and he's 6'6" and like an elite skater.
And
another guy I could see going high just because of that package that AGM will fall in love with. I feel like an Eric Nielsen could sneak in. There's going to be some names that we aren't seeing.
Another reason I went winger with the Flyers is another name I've seen them taking even as high as their 22nd pick is this Daniel Prokhorov.
Yeah,
he's a left wing. It's like
Ron might have mocked him to the Flyers at one point.
Yeah, that sounds right. I have him down at 46, but that's still, they have him taking him in the first round, so I can see him moving up.
Yeah,
Riker Lee, I've seen getting a little bit of buzz.
He could be a Carolina pick.
Jack Murtaugh, I don't think that's how you say it, but he's a guy. Oh, this Charlie Tethaway, the right-handed defenseman.
Yeah.
I see him on the rise.
Carter Amico is another D-man who's gotten basically the same thing as the other guys. He's just a big right-hand shot defenseman. Those guys go high.
And the only other 2 players I think are worth mentioning, at least from my end, would be I've seen Cole McKinney.
Yep, I was going to mention him too.
And then Jacob Wozniak is another one I've seen teetering at the end of the first round, early second.
Yeah, Jacob Wozniak.
Is that ease? That's how you say it, huh? Ease.
I think that's about true. Rabkin will be interesting. I feel like he will fall out of the first round. Vaclav Nestrasil could maybe sneak in. Big winger with some hands. His production wasn't as good as I'd hoped, but I've seen Eddie John Borg get some love recently. Man, could be another goalie or 2. Yeah, Prokhorov is someone I don't love, but he's a big winger with a heavy shot. So,
first round. But hopefully we can do this with Josh. We'll try to finish up our rankings either next week or the following week. God damn, I can't wait for the draft. It's going to be so. It's
great time.
Excuse me. Jeez, I don't know where that came from. But last question before we go. What percentage would you give that the Flyers make all 3 first-round picks in this year's draft?
I maybe 60%.
That they do make the picks.
That they make them, yeah.
60-40 split then?
I won't expect the trades, but I do expect them to be looking pretty actively. So I think they'll be open to it. I'm just not sure, it'll depend on their rankings, but I'm not sure that there will be a person in this draft that's like worth packaging up and trading instead of keeping the picks and just taking more lottery swings. So we'll see. I would love, trades are fun. Even if it's something you're like, maybe they shouldn't have done that. Just trades are fun.
I'm gonna say 70 or I'm gonna say 60-40 that they don't make all the trades, but the caveat is I'm considering non-draft trades, like out, other teams, or instead of an offer sheet, they work a trade out or something like that. I think that's more like
talking about Isaac Howard here.
Ooh, I almost forgot about him. But yes, an RFA, something like that. Like, I think that's more likely than a trade up, at least in the first round. But if they make all their picks, even the second round ones, it's like, what are we doing? Like, come on.
I know you didn't want to draft a winger at 22, but if the board fell the way we had it, I prefer Isaac Howard to anybody there at 22.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if that's what it's going to take, why not? You have plenty of other picks. This guy's more proven than the rest. You might as well. Yeah, that's the way I look at it too. He's already well along his way. You're trying to get better now. That would make more sense. If you're looking at winger, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the trades are all going to start happening with anybody. I think we can technically make trades now, which I always found weird. I think the season should end before you can do that.
Well, the weirdest is when they happen. Like that you said, during the playoffs, the teams that aren't in the playoffs.
Right. It always got me in football too is other coaches are like agreeing to become head coordinators are agreeing to become head coaches of other teams, and they're like they're in the conference championship game.
Yeah.
It's like your mind's clearly not on the game.
Kellen Moore was interviewing like all playoffs during the Eagles run.
Yeah.
I mean, they find a way to manage it, but it's dumb. Can't we all just wait for the season end and
like there's so much
on the teams they're on, and
wouldn't you want to stretch out your news and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, Stanley Cup playoffs started tonight, so obviously High and Wide decided to do not one but 2 podcasts. This was supposed to be released tomorrow. I had it all set up that way, and then I just accidentally went live. So good thing I didn't,
We'll have to have Jim re-release it as a recorded version tomorrow.
That's my plan. We'll get 2 of them going. But look, it's 3-3. There's about 8 minutes left. Yeah.
Evan's inside it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that was fun. That was awesome. I can't wait to go over it with Josh. Think about what you want to change. We'll try to do it again. Should be back next week with our regular personal rankings. And let's go watch the game. So keep it high, keep it wide. Let's go, Florida. All right. See you guys.